One of the reasons you'll want to know the Vizrt language is for action scripting. And action script allows you to write commands within a Vizrt scene to trigger other commands. So we have a scene set up here. We have a bar that just comes into our stage or comes across our render window here within a quick animation. So we want to write an action script to send a command. Now, action scripting is different from the script plugin found within the globals folder. The script plugin uses a different language than what we are going to use with action script. To demonstrate what this action script is, we can use it within the stage. As I said, we have an animation here. I have a director set up where the bar just comes across. So I want to add an action command or an action keyframe within the stage here. And to do that, I'm just going to come up right above the director here and click this little A. You can click it or drag it. We'll just click it and we can give it a name here. We'll just call it action. You can hit enter or click OK. And it creates this little timeline area here where we can select and place our red bar, our timeline, wherever we want it. Once we have it where we want it, we can just come up and click add a keyframe. We can click that and it adds this keyframe right where that red timeline is. Now we click on the keyframe and here we have a box that we can type our action command. So since we're all familiar with the transformation one that we have used in previous tutorials, we'll use that one. And for an action command, instead of typing send main scene like we did in the show commands window, we're going to just type in this scene, which stands for the current scene that we have open. And again, we want to go to the tree and we want to find the container named bar. And then we want to access or use the transformation to change whatever we want to change. And this time, let's do the scaling. So we'll just put scaling set and let's just move it to 2 for each thing. Now, when we hit play, this timeline will hit that keyframe and it will scale our bar. So there it went to 2. Another way you could do it, if you just want to test your keyframe, let's just change these variables here back to what they were, 1, 1, and 1 for the X, Y, and Z scaling. And we can just hit this little execute button here to test to make sure our action keyframe works. If you want to get rid of the command, you can just highlight it and delete it within there. What else can we do with commands? So another example here is that we can access other parts of the user interface as well. For instance, we have our scene set up here, and let's say we want to make sure that this loop director gets triggered and plays whenever this timeline hits that keyframe. So we'll come into this keyframe, our action keyframe here, and we'll start again by typing this scene. This time, instead of going to the tree, we want to come to the stage and we want to access a director, and we want to access a specific director named loop. So we need the $, and then we need to tell it what we want it to do. So we'll just type in start. And if we hit the execute command here, you can see that that will start that loop director. If we wanted to add 2 commands within the same keyframe, we can do that as well. We also have within this bar a function. So if I reveal the group here, we have our cogwheel, that's part of our design, and we have an auto rotate on here. And we want to make sure that this starts to auto rotate once it hits that keyframe. So we can come in this keyframe here and separate it by a colon, and this time, and again, we're going to start the action by typing in this scene. This time we want to go to the tree again, and we need to access each one of these containers. So we need to start with the $, and then type in the container name for each. This time it's bar design, and we want to access the container named cogwheel. Now we need to call out this plugin or function. So we are going to type in function, and we need the name of the function that we want to call out, and the name of the function is auto rotate. Now we need to tell it what we want it to do, and we want the rotation to start. So the naming convention for that is rot start. And then we just need to tell it to go. So we type in invoke. And if we hit execute here, you can see that it will start that auto rotation. If we halt it and then we come up and halt our loop director and just place it wherever we want. With the timeline, we can come into our main director here, rewind it, we hit play. Once it reaches this action keyframe here, it's going to trigger that action, which triggers the loop and that function to start to auto rotate. So that's how you can use Action Script within Vizrt.